Throughout antiquity, wolves were viewed as beasts of nightmare. 30,000 years ago, hearing their howls in the dark signaled imminent threat. Next to them, humans were slow, fragile creatures, constantly tracked by predators with an acute sense of smell. Wolves hunted in coordinated packs, possessing massive jaws, relentless stamina, and piercing eyes that operated vastly better in the shadows than yours ever could. Still, against all odds, out of every creature mankind crossed paths with, wolves became our ultimate allies. Not livestock, not beasts of burden, not even other primates, but wolves. Today, nearly 1 billion dogs inhabit the planet, resting in our protect our households, sniff out explosives, manage livestock, save survivors from winter avalanches, and pose in tiny party hats beside celebratory cakes. Yet, the domestic dog was never a planned invention. No ancient human community ever gathered to design a cuddly sidekick that fetches sticks. Canines came about completely by chance. Remarkably, wolves may have initiated their own taming process long before humans even registered what was taking place. To grasp how this occurred, picture the Earth during the Ice Age. From 20,000 to 40,000 years ago, early humans survived as hunter-gatherers. Tiny bands of just 20 to 50 people migrated relentlessly across vast territories in search of sustenance. Survival was a grueling, daily struggle. Success in the hunt was rare. Freezing winters claimed lives daily, while a fractured limb was often a death sentence. Beyond the glow of the campfires, predatory wolves lurked in the shadows. But this next detail is crucial. Our ancestors were notoriously untidy dining partners. Even in times of famine, early foragers discarded bone fragments, hides, and unfinished prey. To wild canines, a migrating tribe was essentially a traveling buffet of effortless energy. Initially, these animals drew near with extreme care, but the most daring among them approached slowly. Those showing aggression were quickly killed. The highly fearful kept their distance and went hungry. Yet, within certain packs, a unique few emerged, less hostile, less frightened, and driven by curiosity. Recent genetic findings indicate that some wolves were naturally predisposed to tolerate humans. Over generations, these tamer canines enjoyed higher survival rates than their hostile peers. By trailing human camps to feed on scraps, they avoided the perilous risks of hunting wild prey. As generations passed, nature selected wolves according to their behavior. Agreeable ones secured extra nourishment. Peaceful ones remained near human settlements. The hostile ones perished, and gradually their bodies also transformed. It feels implausible, but researchers have documented this. We saw a comparable process unfold live. Back in 1959, a Soviet scientist named Dmitry Belyaev launched a Siberian study with foxes. Driven to decode the mystery of domestication, he bred strictly the most docile foxes of each generation. Just like that, there was no training or teaching of tricks involved. Instead, he simply bred the most docile foxes, generation after generation. Within mere decades, these foxes began mirroring domestic dogs. They wagged their tails and whimpered to get human attention. They licked human palms eagerly. Soon, however, an even more bizarre shift occurred as their physical features began to transform. Their ears drooped, their muzzles shortened, and white spots peppered their coats. Their tails even curled. Remarkably, when wild creatures grow more docile, their outward appearance frequently morphs right along with their temperament. Researchers have observed that taming various species naturally triggers physical changes, like drooping ears, smaller muzzles, gentler expressions, and spotted coats. It is highly likely the earliest ancestral dogs began losing their fierce appearance long before humans actively started selective breeding. Picture yourself in a prehistoric settlement watching a pack of wolves approach. These beasts appear a bit smaller, gentler, and far less menacing than their wild kin. While not quite companions, they are no longer entirely feral. Remarkably, this transformation likely unfolded across several regions at once. Across vast stretches of the prehistoric Earth, humans and wolves were forging bonds simultaneously. This quiet alliance developed over millennia, with no one realizing that evolution was unfolding right beside their hearths. The practical advantages, however, became obvious almost immediately. These beasts sense threats long before we can. They detect predators from incredible distances and track game with superior accuracy. Keeping a wolf near the settlement provided a natural security system. If bears neared or intruders crept close, the wolves sounded the alarm first. Whenever target game was close, wolves proved useful in tracking them down. Once this mutual cooperation for survival began, their developing bond quickly intensified. This explains why canines are recognized as humanity's very first animal companions. Their taming predated livestock like sheep and goats, and even the birth of agriculture itself. With the dawn of human farming, our canine companions underwent yet another transformation to remain by our side. As our ancestors cultivated crops and consumed more grains, dogs adapted to process starches far more efficiently than wolves ever could. It is a remarkable evolutionary twist, showing they were partnering with us long before we ever tilled the earth. Long before written words, urban centers, metallurgy, or even the pyramids, this connection was forming. Across millennia, people and dogs reshaped one another's feelings. When we look deep into a canine's eyes, both bodies release oxytocin, the exact hormone responsible for the deep attachment between parents and offspring. Kids, wild wolves do not share this natural bond with people, but domestic dogs do. That adoring gaze from your pet retriever is far from accidental. Evolution specifically engineered canine brains to link up emotionally with our own. Canines actually developed facial gestures that trigger our natural caregiving instincts. It's likely that those iconic puppy dog eyes became prevalent simply because early people preferred nurturing more expressive animals. Furthermore, some researchers believe that these companions boosted human hunting efficiency to an extraordinary degree. Canine companionship gave early humans a significant evolutionary edge. While these animals aided our global expansion, taming them came at a price. Canines surrendered the wild traits of their wolf ancestors, and today, human-directed breeding has left many modern varieties plagued by debilitating health issues. Extreme breeding causes respiratory distress in pugs, severe back issues in dachshunds, and birthing complications in bulldogs. Yet, primeval wolf instincts still endure within them. For instance, when a dog spins before resting, it mimics ancestral wolves flattening. The lawn. Their howling, food caching, and sleep twitching are all ancient behaviors resurfacing from millennia ago. Inside every lapdog and working husky lies the spirit of a prehistoric wolf. This evolutionary tie is likely why dogs feel far more integrated into our lives than any other companion. Cattle merely accept our presence, and horses labor alongside us. But dogs chose to unite with humanity. They rested right by our side, protecting us from the wild beasts lurking just beyond the campfire's glow. These loyal companions traversed icy tundras beside us, guarding our camps through the night. They braved fierce storms, mass migrations, battlefields, and entirely new worlds. Over time, this partnership evolved into something far deeper than mere utility. In Germany, researchers unearthed an ancient burial site dating back nearly 14,000 years, which held the remains of a man, a woman, and a dog gently laid to rest beside them. This canine had contracted a devastating sickness as a puppy, but lived on for weeks or even months afterward, indicating that these people actively nursed it back to health. Reflect on that for a moment. Ice Age humans, facing their own brutal daily struggle, eking out a living in one of the planet's most unforgiving climates. These people still sacrificed vital sustenance, time, and strength to heal an ailing canine. Such devotion goes far beyond mere utility. It reveals a profound bond, genuine companionship, and perhaps even love. For millennia, people and dogs steered one another's destiny. It all started when a handful of wolves grew brave enough to approach human hearts. Without any deliberate design or clever breakthrough, leftover food lured wary beasts from the shadows, setting a slow evolutionary shift in motion. Transforming terror into one of humanity's most extraordinary alliances. Later tonight, your canine companion will likely curl up beside you, completely unaware that this deep bond was forged tens of millennia ago. But now, you hold that secret.